Hi everyone, I'm Michael Caramonte, and this is my commentary video on Space Traders, Derek Bell's movie. Um, I personally thought that this little short movie was very interesting for a number of reasons. Um, so kind of the way that it went was that it started out with a bunch of spacecrafts and aliens kind of landing in the U.S. and the vice president gets up to speak and try and communicate with him, and the aliens start talking to the vice president about their reasoning for coming and what their interaction will be with the vice president and kind of what they want out of coming. And when they got there, their main kind of spiel was that they will provide a bunch of things to the U.S., such as like gold and a bunch of machines that could renew our air and rivers and give us kind of a better source of energy. But this was all on one term, and this was that we essentially had to let them take all of the people with melanin in their skin, um, and let the aliens have them and take them back to wherever they're from. And they said that they had 5 days to decide and they want to do business together. And after their entire conversation, the movie kind of switches over to a group of men sitting around a table, a bunch of important people, including the president, and a bunch of the white men suggest that it's a good idea, actually, and that they want to follow through with it, and how there could be so many benefits to it that could end pollution, end poverty. It could be one of the greatest days in history if they decide to do this. And even a bunch of the other people, there was a white woman in there, and they realize that it's crazy, but she explains that it would cut down 40% of Medicare programs and could live tax-free and all these other benefits to essentially letting them take everyone with melanin in their skin, so all the black people in our country. And one of the main reasons that they were thinking could be a bad idea is because of the guilt that white people would have letting go of all the black people, which is probably the least of the worries that I would have. But anyway, they also, another kind of shocking comment that was said in the video by the white woman was that, I put it down right here, it says, do you really think that aliens will treat them worse than we have? And this was kind of shocking to me, kind of hearing that. I don't even know how to really expand on that, just how it's very kind of, it's just very weird way to word that, I think. Explaining how she's kind of admitting that black people are treated poorly. And it would essentially just be the extermination of black people in our country. And as they're in this meeting, there is one black person sitting in the meeting who obviously isn't very for this, considering that his family is all black. And the president comes to his house the next day and pretty much bribes him, saying, if you lobby with me, then I will send 100 families to England to save you guys from going with the aliens. And he essentially is considering it while he says that. And his whole family knows what's going on as it's being broadcasted all around the news. The mom even comes home from the grocery store one day with skin whitener so they can try and get some of the melanin out of their skin to not be classified as going with the aliens. And that was kind of sad, and you could see it in the kids' eyes that it was kind of just very disappointing that they had to change the skin color and who they really were. just to be able to live in the United States, which is really crazy. And I think it kind of resonates with what's going on now and all the injustice that's been happening in our country. Then, kind of as it progresses, the black man who was in that meeting with the president, the president eventually tried bribing, realizes that it's messed up and that he cannot do this, and he will try and talk to other people, and they were going to try and come up with something to let all the black people stay. And when he goes to this kind of speech in almost a church area, there's someone preaching to them about everything that's going on, and when he walks in, a bunch of people are kind of slandering him, calling him an Oreo and all these types of names because they think he is for getting rid of all the black people, but this is really what he's not trying to do at all, and he just wants to be able to think of the best way of not sabotaging his own people. And then as the movie progresses, they do a vote on national TV. You dial a number if you vote yes to letting the black people leave, or no if you want them to stay. And a black man is doing the news at this time, and he sees the results come in, and you can just see the disappointment on his face. What I would say is the best word to describe it, when he sees that all the votes are yes. And then at the very end, it just shows the National Guard essentially escorting everyone out into a beach type area where the aliens just suck everyone up into the spacecrafts and leave with all of the black people. And this movie was really interesting for just a number of ways. At the beginning, I thought it was kind of weird, the whole idea, but as it progressed, I thought it was pretty neat, like the idea of the movie, and just like two complete different sides of it. And I think it really can correlate with what's going on in our country now, obviously on a much lower standard, but with the election and everything going on. So I really liked watching the movie.